जगन्माता
माता जगन्माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
माता जगन्माता
माता जगन्माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
माङ्गल्यमयी लक्ष्मी भवानी
माङ्गल्यमयी लक्ष्मी भवानी
माङ्गल्यमयी लक्ष्मी भवानी
माङ्गल्यमयी लक्ष्मी भवानी
गिरिजा शङ्करी दुर्गा माता
गिरिजा शङ्करी दुर्गा माता
गिरिजा शङ्करी दुर्गा माता
गिरिजा शङ्करी दुर्गा माता
माता जगन्माता
माता जगन्माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
स्नेहमयी कल्याणमयी
स्नेहमयी कल्याणमयी
प्रेममयी आनन्दमयी
प्रेममयी आनन्दमयी
स्नेहमयी कल्याणमयी
स्नेहमयी कल्याणमयी
प्रेममयी आनन्दमयी
प्रेममयी आनन्दमयी
शुभदा वरदा पार्वती माता
शुभदा वरदा पार्वती माता
शुभदा वरदा पार्वती माता
शुभदा वरदा पार्वती
माता
श्री माता जगन्माता
माता जगन्माता
विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी
विशालाक्षी माता
माङ्गल्यमयी लक्ष्मी भवानी
माङ्गल्यमयी लक्ष्मी भवानी
गिरिजा शङ्करी पार्वती माता
गिरिजा शङ्करी पार्वती माता
माता जगन्माता
श्री माता
जगन्माता विश्वविलासिनी विशालाक्षी माता
विश्वविलासिनी
विशालाक्षी माता
स्नेहमयी कल्याणमयी
स्नेहमयी कल्याणमयी
प्रेममयी आनन्दमयी
प्रेममयी
विशालाक्षि माता
What is that we should discuss tonight? The seed becomes tree and then tree becomes the seed. So the fulfillment of seed is to become the seed again. Unless the seed becomes a tree and then tree bears the fruit and the seed, it is not complete. The cycle is not complete. Right? Again the seed becomes a seed. From seed to seed is the whole journey. Starts with one seed and becomes many seeds. In the same way, human life finds its fulfillment when it realizes the vast nature of the being, the infinite being. That I am not just the body, but much more than the body. I am not just one individual, but much more than the individual. This awareness alone can bring fulfillment. Till this awareness comes, there is restlessness inside of you. And the way to get into this, that fulfillment is three things. Bodh, that is awareness. Yog means unity. And then prem, that is love. The three ways to reach to that. Seed reaching the seed back. Seed realizing its total potential is seed again. Just in your own life, you just look back. Do you have an experience of birth? Do you remember? No. You suddenly found yourself at some age, 2, 3, or maybe 1 year old, 2 year old, suddenly you start recognizing, realizing everything in this world. Or some things in this world. I won't say everything. You start recognizing, realizing that, and then by the age of 3, you really became aware of your identity, that you are somebody. From 1 year, 2 years, you started recognizing, you started identifying the name, you started recognizing things. But if you are asked, were you really born? You don't know. Some would have the experience of being in the womb also. So, we were there, this you all know. We were there, that we all know. Okay, I'll give you. It's a very abstract thing, but it's really the concrete thing. Let me give you an example. Okay, a ball of mud, you make that into a pot. When you make the pot, the space inside the mud, the pot is born. Can you say the space is born? Can you say the space inside this pot is created? What was created? The boundary was created, but was the space created? Now, which has the value? Is the pot, is the mud is having value, or the space inside the mud has value? Which has the value? If the space alone has value, why don't you, nobody buys the space. Nobody relates the space. So you are buying a mud pot, so you make that into a ball, say suppose a mud ball. Would anybody buy a mud ball? Nobody buys a mud ball, nobody buys a space. What people buy? Space inside the mud ball. If mud ball allows some space to be within it, then that has value. Same with human life. Human life has the expression, has the ability to express the infinity. Infinity is anyway there. It has no value. And life is there on the planet, but it is not the same as human life. But human life which expresses infinity brings the total satisfaction. And how do you manifest the infinity, which is anyway present everywhere? Through awareness, love, unconditional love, and your union with that infinity. When the small mind realizes I am united with the infinity, that is called yoga, not just doing exercise. The small mind of you realize I am no longer small mind, but I am part of a big mind. I am part of it. Uniting also appears there are two things you are trying to unite. This is recognition of I am part of something big. or I am the big. This is one step towards saying, I am Aham Brahmasmi, I am the big. One step before that, I am part of it. हिंदी में भी बोलते हैं योग, बोध और प्रेम, ये तीन चीजें हों जीवन में, ये तीनों के जरिए हम अपने जीवन का पूर्णता को अनुभव कर सकते हैं. जीवन में पूर्णता अनुभव करने हो तो क्या करना है? योग, बोध और बोध, यही सांख्य कल मैंने बताया था, जो ये सब कुछ सपना है. जागो, जाग के देखो, ये बोध है. मैं कुछ नहीं हूं, ये बोध है. मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए, ये बोध है. मैं सबका हूं, ये बोध है. हा? योग जिसको शब्द में नहीं कहा जा सकता है, अनुभूति में उतरता है. जो है सो है, जो है सो मैं ही हूं, ये योग है. फिर प्रेम, शब्दों में बांधा नहीं जा सकता. भक्ति कहते, प्रेम कहते, अपने स्वरूप है, मेरा स्वरूप है प्रेम. प्रेम कोई ऐसी सिर्फ भावुकता नहीं है. अक्सर भावुकता को हम प्रेम समझते हैं, ये गलत हो जाता है. इसलिए लोग उलझते रहते हैं, उलझते रहते, उलझते रहते. So the three aspects, the bodh means being aware that you are nobody, I am nothing. This is bodh. I am everybody, that is bodh. इधर कारपेट में या कुछ से होता है. ये देखो, इसमें कुछ हाँ. और क्या? What else? Bodh is I am that, or I am this. And yoga is realizing I am part of the big mind. It's so interesting. You have some questions?
We have a question here, Gurudev, from the webcast viewer, Akansha Batra from Los Angeles, USA. Gurudev, I want to be Sthita Pragya, not drifted by cravings and aversions. What shall I do?
The moment you recognize that there is craving and aversion, I am getting disturbed by that and I don't want to get disturbed by it, you're already on track. See, it's like a person who just wakes up from sleep. Only then he realizes, oh, I was sleeping. Correct? Like that. When you remember, then you say, oh, I had forgotten. If you are really forgotten, you don't remember that you have forgotten. When you say, I have forgotten, the memory is already back there. Correct? It's already on way back. So, this very intention that I don't want to be caught up in craving and aversion, you have woken up. Yeah? And have patience. Don't be too hard on yourself. Yeah?
Gurudev, you have said that like rhythms in nature, there is rhythm in our thoughts and emotions. Kindly explain these rhythms and thoughts and emotions by Mahesh Mittal from Houston.
I want you to take a look at your own emotions on a time scale. See how your emotion was there last year at the same time. What was your feelings, your thoughts and your emotions during the Christmas time or during Easter time or to Diwali time? Just analyze. Just take one look at the patterns. You will find there is pattern happening year after year. This is what I say is rhythm. The objects differ, but the pattern remains same. Last year you were upset about some particular thing, at the same time previous year you were again upset but for something else. So the object of your disturbances or your enjoyment varied, but the experience remained the same. This is what you call patterns. Yeah?
Shivali has this following question. If every wish gets fulfilled at a particular time as per God's will, so what is the significance and necessity of prayer?
Well, see, prayer is not something you impose on yourself or anyone else. Prayer is a natural call for help or natural expression of gratefulness. Prayer can happen only on two situations or two occasions. One is when you are desperately in need of something and you pray. When you realize you are weak, you cannot handle, you cannot get it by your own effort, that is when you ask for help. That is the prayer. And the second occasion prayer happens is when you realize you have received so much more than what you really deserve, and all that has come to you as a blessing, as a gift, then that gratefulness or thankfulness that you express becomes prayer. Yeah. And if you extend a little further, say one more occasion is when you are in deep love with the universe, the maker of the universe, or the energy in the universe, or the divinity in whatever form or formless way you perceive it. That is prayer, that is devotion. Yeah. So it is something which happens spontaneously. And it's good to have a little ritual associated with prayers because it adds color to life. You know, you do pray it pray in a particular manner, light a lamp or a candle or something that brings up the sleeping emotions. These are benefits of prayer. Benefits of prayer are what? It invokes the sleeping emotion, number one. It takes away the worry and burden in your head, number two. Third, it builds the confidence in you and feel the connection from your side. You are already connected to the infinite, to the divinity. But from your side, you start realizing you are connected to the higher power, higher energy, higher self. So these are the benefits that occur from prayers. And sometimes it also, even though your emotions are much in it, at least it puts you in a routine. Say suppose you have make a habit of praying, every day. Maybe 4 days go without any depth. The fifth day suddenly you may experience something. It's almost like any sadhana. That's why it's called sadhana. Making it a practice in your life so that you have something to do. Something to do that is ethereal, that does not seem to immediately give you some benefit. It is a way to connect to something that is not so tangible but that really exists. So prayer could be one such link to the unknown, unseen. Falling in love with the unknown. That's prayer, that is Shraddha.
Gurudev, what is Pitra Dosh? How does it affect our daily life? And what is the solution? This question has come from Prabir Gupta, Nepal.
Pitra Dosh is, torturing the parents, comes out of torturing the parents, not our parents or ancestors. If children torture them, do not understand them, then what is called Pitra Dosha, that pain in them, with so much love and taking pain, they have made you, they have given you a good life. They have been by your side to help you grow up. And then you don't, you inflict them a lot of pain. That is called Pitra Dosha. The ancestors, that can happen from several generations there. But I tell you, your meditation, your being on spiritual path, keeping a clean heart and doing selfless service, at least to some degree in life, will just eliminate all these Pitra Doshas. See, sometimes people are miserable not because you did something to them, they are miserable out of their own ignorance. They expect things from you which you may not be able to deliver. Then you don't get Pitra Dosha. Pitra Dosha is when Pitra Dosha happens, when they are really pained by something you could do and you don't do it. Or you intentionally inflicted pain on the parents due to your selfish reason. Then Pitra Dosha. And the Pitra Dosha, what happens? The children, then the progeny will have problems. The same thing, well, your children will give you problems. That is what it is, Pitra Dosha. The impact of it is, children are born with some special needs, some deformities, special needs. This is all the sign of Pitra Dosha because their parents were not happy. Somewhere in the ancestral line, somebody was very unhappy with their own kids. So now you had to become unhappy with your own kids. This is a law of karma. But there is a remedy for it. Remedy is meditation, Om Namah Shivaya, chanting, all this. This is why it's called Maha Mantra. Om Namah Shivaya. It can remedy, it can rectify any of these doshas or what you call shortcomings. It can eliminate many of those karmas. That's why the chant is very powerful. It's not that only it belongs, Om Namah Shivaya belongs to Hindu religion, no. It's a chant which is universal for everybody. Because the Namah Shivaya, the 5 letter, indicates the 5 elements in creation. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. The ether is for everybody. You can't say ether is only for one community. Fire is not for one community. Nobody can say the earth is not for just one religion. Namah Shivaya is the seed mantra for the 5 elements and the consciousness on top of it. These artists made a big injustice because the artists depicted all the tattvas or Shiva tattva as someone with a snake in the neck and sitting with Trishul and all that. The artist's imagination is only an artist. That's why, there is a old tradition, you should not have a murti for Shiva. I mean a figure for Shiva. It's only one symbol is kept, that's all. Puja is done only to Shivling because it's just a symbol. Because Shiva Tattva is all permeating everywhere. But in your mind, Shiva immediately means you remember TV serial. Someone getting, getting dressed in different ways. No. This is all symbol. The snake is a symbol of alertness. The blueness in Shiva is a symbol of the vast space, consciousness. In Tamil, whenever they do any, in Tamil Nadu this is very common, it's a Shivatru Chittambalam. Whenever they say Shiva, they say Shiva, the inner consciousness, the inner space. Ambalam means space. Chittambalam, the space of consciousness. Shiva, the most benevolent inner space of consciousness. This is what they say all the time, chant also.
Can bhakti change your destiny?
Yes, definitely.
And a related question. It is said by Vasishta, one of the gatekeepers of the realm of moksha is satsanga. Gurudev, we are very keen to hear you elaborate on this statement.
Yeah, the 4 gatekeepers of satsanga. That means 4 doors to satsang, to enlightenment. So one is satsang. Satsang is good company, the right company, the company which uplifts you. And what is a good company? How do you decide what is a good company, what is not good company? Just you sit with a person, talk to them for half an hour, maybe even 15 minutes. And when you leave that person, do you feel lighter, uplifted, enthusiastic and happier? Or you feel depressed, angry, agitated, sad? That says it all. A good company is one with whom you sit and discuss your problem and the problem appears to be insignificant. That's a good company. But you sit with someone and you discuss a problem and you come out feeling, oh, I thought it is a small issue, now it appears to be much bigger. When the problems appear much bigger than what it is a dussanga. It's not satsang. It's a bad company. Satsang is even the big problems appear to be lighter. And your enthusiasm is high, you feel confident, you feel happy, and you want to serve people, not becoming greedy. That is satsang. Satsang that creates positive energy in you, uplifts your spirit, gives you insight and courage, and make you realize the reality. Sometimes you may in a bubble of hallucination. Satsang will bring you to ground. It's not all the time. Suppose you are imagining something and satsang will always support you. hallucinations. Satsang will bring you to ground and make you realize the ground reality. And bring you to a point where you realize your imagination or what you are doing was not correct. Yeah.
How much of social media is good for modern days?
For some time it's good, no? Every day spending a little time on social media is essential. Because social media has changed the way we perceive this world. It has made a big difference. It helps people to gain more authentic information from around the world. Social media has helped the free flow of information. Otherwise, it was all sponsored and we used to come through only a few houses, business houses, or a few, correspondents and editors. They would put out what is to be told to people and what not to be told. They would hide many things which people need to know. So now that is being taken away. The social media has brought a sense of democracy in journalism. It is no more dictatorship and monopoly in journalism. It has brought democracy in journalism. As usual, democracy has its own flaws. Like the right news gets spread in social media, misinformation can also be spread as widely as the right thing could be done. So it's we who should be careful how we use the social media. And we need to bring that ethics in social media as well. Ethics means not abusive languages, not use abusive language, be civilized, respectful for others, compassion for people. All these values need to be there. Social media without values can be very disheartening and would distort and destroy human psyche. Social media with responsibility, with certain ethics and efficacies, can do a lot good, lot more good to the world. Yeah.
Gurudev, there are many atrocities against Dalits nowadays in India. What do you make of it?
This is the most unfortunate thing. If Dalits continue to be oppressed in this country, India can never rise up. India can never ever rise up if Dalits are not part of the growth and social justice. They should be given total protection, total security and equal rights. Of course, in all metropolitan cities it is not there. But villages are still far away from getting the social justice to Dalits. I think every village panchayat, though they have reservation, politically everything is in place, economically it is in place, it is the spiritual, social thing that is really lacking. Here I would say all the religious leaders, spiritual leaders, have to put their foot forward, walk the extra mile to dispel the myth in the people about untouchability. If they feel Dalit is untouchable, they should not even touch the scriptures written by Dalits like Ramayana and Mahabharata. They have no right to read a book like Ramayana, Mahabharata, or worship people like Ramanujacharya. This is 1000 years of Ramanujacharya, one of the great three acharyas of India, of Hinduism, who stood against oppression of any community. It is against Adi Shankaracharya, who has vehemently said that untouchability should not be there. Who has vehemently said. He said, in fact, Chandala is my guru. He said, Dalit Harijan is my guru. That much he went to say. Jati neti kula gotra durakam. He said, you are Brahman. Drop the jati, drop the caste and all these divisions you have harbored in your head. And people should be educated. There are hundreds and hundreds of rishis, sons who are from the Dalit community, who have really built the great literature in Sanskrit, in the Vedas, in the Upanishads. It's all there. Having said this, I have one advice for Dalits. Just because an incident here and there, a few people are crazy, they are ignorant, they are ill-educated, you don't throw away the wealth which your ancestors have given to this world. Don't make it a fashion. Oh, because of some other... You see, suppose someone comes and occupies a piece of your land, you don't run away. You don't abdicate your land. Similarly, these Ramayana and Mahabharata belong to you. All the Vedas belong to you. Swami Dayanand Saraswati of Arya Samaj, founder of Arya Samaj, had done yeoman service, did so much work. And there are many Dalits, professors, scholars through Arya Samaj who worked for the downtrodden people. Respect them. Respect great saints like Aurobindo, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Vivekananda, Ramanujacharya, Basavanna in Karnataka, who fought against the caste system. So you need to respect them. Why would you throw them all away and convert? By conversion, the problem is not getting solved. It is like abdicating your own heritage. And you must own it. Now, one of the things, it's said in the Veda, Shudra is the feet, Vaishya is the thigh, and Kshatriya is the shoulder, and Brahmin is the head. I mean, this is just a simile. It was and feet is never considered as low in this country, in this civilization. In the Occident, your foot means it is gali, kya bolte hai? Abuse. Your foot is an abusive word. Here, feet is a sacred word. Here you say padravan. Kehte anybody comes to home, it's a padravan. Please, you keep your feet here. Request your feet to be kept here. Pada puja is the greatest thing that is done here. Puja is done only to the feet, not to the head. Nobody does Shir Puja. Shir Puja means it's an abusive, not so abusive, it's a derogatory remark. Here Pada Puja is the most respectable thing. Feet is the most worshipped thing. So that which comes out of feet is called Charanamrit. It's the nectar of the feet. Lord's feet is a nectar from the Lord's feet. Sri Ram washed the feet of Guha. A Dalit. Dalit means what? One who comes from the lower strata of society. Socially, economically, lower strata. So, don't pick on this one thing. Oh, the Veda says Shudra is born out of feet, so it is discrimination. Come on, no. That which moves, what moves the society is the Dalit who does all the job. An architect only plans, he gives the plan. The head only gives you a plan on the paper. But one who builds actually implements is those who are on the ground, whose feet is on the ground. So that is, feet is respected as the highest abode and most respected part of the body. In fact, there was actually no discrimination. Not one part is considered good, another is bad in this civilization. Every part is sacred. Every part of the body. I mean literally every part. If you read Sanskrit, if you read all that Karma Kand, you would be astonished. Every part you put God or goddess's name in every part of the body. From hair to nails, toenails, genitals, anus. Every part of the body is considered the place the divinity lives. So we don't consider any part as bad or not good or what you call nikamma. हमने कभी निकम्मा नहीं निकृष्ट नहीं समझा. हमने कभी किसी भी अंग को निकृष्ट नहीं समझा. सभी अंग को हमने सम्मान दिया. सभी इसलिए अंग पूजा कहते हैं. हर पूजा से पहले हर अंग में भगवान को स्थापना करते हैं. बोलते हैं मेरे इस एक एक अंग में भगवान है. हाँ, तो ये कुछ लोग भारत को तोड़ने के लिए ये सब हरकतें करते हैं. Some people who try to break this country, called India, they do all these sort of things, create divisions. We must be careful about such elements, divisive forces. Of course, we need to educate people for some or other excuse. It's not just because of caste, sometimes even out of many other issues. Violence is spreading in the society against women, against leaders, spiritual leaders, against, particular community like Dalits. This only indicates that we need more wave of spirituality, more wave of love and knowledge. Only that can transform the world. सत्संग की जरूरत है. सत्संगी कोई भी जाके इस तरह से हरकत नहीं करता. One who is in satsang will never go and harm someone else. If they harm, they have never been in satsang. That is what we need to bring to awareness.
Dear Guruji, some people in pain use antidepressants to keep sane. For example, Prozac. Can you suggest some mean to overcome this use and all these medicines?
Yoga, Sudarshan Kriyas, Samadhi meditation. Recently in London, Ontario, in Canada, in a hospital, they made an experiment. They gave medication to people who the remission from the medication for depression was only 14%. But when they learned Sudarshan Kriya, Sahaj Samadhi meditation, not even Kriya, and the result was 64%. So now they are recommending to everybody. Of course, we know this practically, but when you hear from authenticated scientific report, that somewhere hits the intellect a little sharper, people accept it much more.
Dear Guruji, India is not doing so well at the Olympics. How can India improve its performances?
See, the endurance rate of our young people is very, very low. Very low. When they did somewhere, I think in Kerala, but when they did a test for the strength for our youth, it was only 20% or something like that. Huh? Isn't it? 18 or 20%. But they're not able to perform. This is one thing is because we have not yet integrated exercise as part of our life. Second is yoga. Yoga is something that can help people to gain their endurance, and their it can unfold many talents that an individual have. And third thing is proper diet, food. In the name of vegetables, our people eat only potato, tomato, onion. And sometimes बैंगन, ब्रिंजाल. आप देखिए क्या खाते लोग, आलू, बैंगन, टमाटर, आलू, टमाटर, हाँ, पनीर. बस इसी में हम लोग रहते हैं. हम कभी नहीं सोचते हम कैसा खाना खा रहे हैं. इज इट, वी नेवर लुक इनटू आवर फूड वेदर इट हैज एनफ न्यूट्रिशंस. साग सब्जी खाते हैं तो 2-4 दिन में एक बार खाते हैं, ढंग से नहीं. और अभी वो भी क्या है, इतना उसको उबाल करके पानी फेंक करके फिर वो खाते हैं. We need to really give cooking classes to our present generation. We boil the rice, we filter the water, throw the water away. We boil the vegetable, throw the water away. And eat just those, D-vitaminized vegetables. Because all the vitamins have gone. So this type of thing we do. How can our young people have endurance? By the way, our kitchen has got here ISO 2000. What is it? वो अनाउंस बताओ क्या है? Kashi announce. Art of Living Kitchen here in the ashram is now certified as one of the biggest and one of the finest kitchen in the country here. Venkatesh is going to come and present that. Yeah.
Jai Gurudev. Actually, ISO is an international standard, and this standard says that whatever we do in the kitchen, it could be hygiene, personal hygiene, or the hygiene of the vegetables or the vessels, or it could be the way we cut it, the way we make it, and the food safety, ensuring the food safety is maintained throughout the food supply chain, and it's universal standard. And today we have been awarded one of the finest certificates, and in the whole of India there are several big mega kitchens, and ours is the very first kitchen to get the certification with the blessings of our master.
Give a big hand to the kitchen team and
the prime objective of ensuring safe food safety at every stage of preparation, be it receipt of the material or vegetable cutting or cooking or preserving it and serving it, every stage there's an international standard and we conform to that. Ensure that customers like you go back with a very highly sorry, okay. That's what the standard says actually, yeah. Thank you. Jai Gurudev.
जिसको जो भाषा आता है वही भाषा में बोलते हैं। नहीं, ये अच्छा है। अब देखिए, भारत में पहला है क्या ये? भारत में पहला मेगा किचन है, पहला मेगा किचन है जिसको ये अवार्ड अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के रसोई घर के रूप में सर्टिफिकेट मिला, क्या बोलते हैं, प्रमाण पत्र मिला है। अच्छा है, इसको ऐसे स्टैंडर्ड बनाए रखें वो लोग। अच्छा, हाँ, ये करना चाहिए। हम क्या करते हैं, ये बनाते हैं कुकिंग क्लास, ठीक है ना। महिलाएं सब एक महिलाओं को सिखाओ। अच्छा, दूसरी बात है, हमारा जो खाना खाते हैं ना, इसमें सब एसिडिक होता। जितना एसिडिक खाना खाते हैं, ये बीमारियों के लिए हम रास्ता खोलते हैं। धीरे धीरे जोड़ों का दर्द, पेट का दर्द, सिर का दर्द, सब जगह का दर्द। तो इसके साथ अल्कलाइन जो कहते हैं वो साथ में जाना चाहिए। तो अल्कलाइन वाटर भी, पानी भी पीना चाहिए लोगों को। पता है अल्कलाइन पानी कैसे बनता है? कितने लोगों को नहीं पता? हाथ उठाओ। तो ये आसान है। एक लीटर पानी में 2-4 नींबू का छोटा सा पीस डाल दो, 2, 3, 4। और कीरा, कुकुम्बर, इसको कहते हैं ककड़ी। कीरा ककड़ी वही होता है ना, दोनों एक। कीरा ककड़ी की 4 पीस उसमें काट के डाल देना, रात भर रख लेना। सुबह थोड़ा सा उसमें कड़वापन हो सकता है, मगर वो पानी भोजन से 1 घंटे पहले या भोजन के 1 घंटे बाद पीते रहने से क्या होगा, हमारे शरीर में जो एसिड बनता है, हमारा ब्लड वो अल्कलाइन होने लगता। अल्कलाइन ब्लड होते ही शरीर की काफ़ी बीमारियां दूर होती है और शरीर भी स्वस्थ रहता है। और ये अल्कलाइन पानी बनाना इतना आसान है, ठीक है, समझ में आई ना। वो 1-2 दिन रख सकते हैं बोतल में, तब कभी उसमें 1-2 मिंट भी डाल सकते हैं, मगर ये तो ज़रूर डालना चाहिए। पुदीना का इतना ज़रूरत नहीं है, ये डालना ज़रूर। क्या, नींबू 2-3 पीस ऐसे उसमें तैरते रहना चाहिए। फिर खीरे का 2-4 पीस काट के उसमें पानी में रहे, और 1-2 लीटर पानी, उसको फिरते बढ़ते जाएंगे, फिर उसको पीते जाएं। इससे बहुत फायदा होता है, ठीक है। अब यहाँ आश्रम में एक कांगन वाटर करके वो भी रखा है, कांगन पानी करके। वो pH लेवल उसका बढ़ता है, तो जापान से वो आया एक मशीन, यहाँ पर वो भी लगाया हुआ है अपने आश्रम में। वो मशीन में यही करता है, वो पानी को अल्कलाइन बनाता है, ठीक है। मगर ये गाँवों में आप लोग ये सबको बता सकते हो, खीरा और नींबू तो मिलता ही है सब जगह, ठीक है। पेट का अल्सर है, वो है, ये है, आंतों के दर्द, ये सब दूर होता है। जोड़ों के दर्द में भी काम आएगा, तो ठीक है। बस आज जन्मदिन किन किन का है? जन्मदिन वाले सब खड़े हो जाइए, इन सब को बधाई दो भाई, सभी लोग।
വൃന്ദാവനത്തിലെ സഖിമാരേ, നിങ്ങളെന്റെ കണ്ണനെ കണ്ടുവോ?
വൃന്ദാവനത്തിലെ
நாளைக்கு தமிழில் பேசுகிறோம். தமிழில் கேள்வி இதெல்லாம் நாளைக்கு பார்க்கலாம். நாளைக்கு உங்களுக்கு செப்பரேட்டாக செஷன் எடுத்துக்கலாம் தமிழ். இன்னைக்கு எல்லாம் வெப்காஸ்ட் உலகம் முழுக்கலும் போகிறதுனால இங்கிலீஷ்லையும் ஹிந்திலையும் பண்ணோம். நாளையிலேருந்து இந்த 3 நாள் இருக்கல, இன்னும் இல்லை 3 நாள் எல்லாம் தமிழில் கேள்வியெல்லாம் பதிலாம் பேசுவோம். தமிழ் மலையாளம் எல்லாம் we will look into. Morning yoga tomorrow morning. We will do here only in Yajnashala. In the grass will be wet, but everybody will come with the yoga mat. Yajnashala. Okay, we'll go to Yajnashala. Katala 6 maniki.
गोविंद राधे गोपाल गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे राधे गोपाल राधे 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 गोपाल राधे गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे गोविंद गोविंद गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद राधे गोपाल राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधा